gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite host, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, Season 2, Episode 42, the San Francisco Treat. Can't wait for this one. I am your host, Eric, my main man right over there. Ron, how are you?
I'm doing quite well.
As usual, the sports world continues to give us so much to talk about each and every week, so we're excited about today's show. A lot to cover, and we're going to start off with our leadoff story. And that's the Carolina Panthers, who have traded star running back Christian McCaffrey to the San Francisco 49ers. Your thoughts on what this does for the 49ers organization in the NFC this season?
Well, I mean, this just puts them on the map, like right square in the middle of this map. Look, right now, we were talking last week, we were just discussing basically right now it's between Philadelphia and Dallas as the better teams, and now this puts San Francisco in a position where their offense could be so dynamic with his addition because of Deebo Samuel.
Yep. So Deebo, George Kittle, Ayuk, who's been a very good wide receiver for him this year. So the only thing that you really got to question here, Ron, is the quarterback play. And that's going to be, how can Jimmy Garoppolo really mess this up?
Well, I think more or less it's how they're going to use McCaffrey with this this dynamic of, they've already had like a running game, so to speak. So now, are they going to utilize two running backs, or is this going to be McCaffrey's going to take the reins and he's going to go with it, and that's going to open up things for Deebo? Or is it going to be the other way around? Deebo is going to still get his touches as a running back as well, and then Christian McCaffrey kind of plays a part-time role in this. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting view.
Dynamic. Yeah, absolutely. Look, from a health standpoint, you're better off probably not giving him as much carries as you would normally do a running back, because just the fact that, look, he hasn't played a full season in the last 2 years. His best year, 2019, 287 yards rushing, 1,387 yards on the ground, 15 touchdowns, 116 receptions for 1,005 yards and 4 touchdowns. So you think about how dynamic he is as a player. But in 2020, he played 3 games. Last season, 7 games. If you're not going to get 17 games, because of the extra week, you're not going to maximize what you're going to get out of him. So giving him less might be more, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense, because first of all, he has played very little due to injury. So you kind of want to keep him, at a low rate of use, so that way he can stay healthy. And that way, come playoff time, when you expect San Francisco to be there, you expect him to get a bigger load of the play, and then you see what Christian McCaffrey can do.
So one of the top ranked defenses in the league. They're in the top 5 defensively. So on that side of the ball, look, you're able to stop teams. This gives you another offensive punch to honestly get more points on the board. This should be a perfect storm in the making of them being able to make a run here again and getting back to the Super Bowl. What they gave up was a 2nd round, 3rd, and 4th round in next year's draft, and then a 5th round in 2024. They have no draft picks in the first 2 rounds of the upcoming draft next season. We saw this with the Rams. The Rams went all in, sold out, did what they needed to do, and it worked. Would you consider Matthew Stafford and Jimmy Garoppolo basically the same kind of quarterback?
No. No.
Well, we could still see this fail based on the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo has proven that he can't really get them to the Super Bowl and win it.
Well, I'm not sure about that. But what I am sure about is Garoppolo is not going to be able to carry the team. Now, he's a very good quarterback. He knows how to run the offense. He knows how to not make mistakes that some quarterbacks, even though they have that arm talent, they make those mistakes, and that ends up costing teams, Carson Wentz, as we saw last year, against Jacksonville. So I think Garoppolo can win a Super Bowl, but he needs the complementary pieces to all function. Now, if any one part of the offense doesn't function, then San Francisco can be in trouble. Because if they can't move the ball, even if it's little, 5-yard chunks at a time, if they can't do that and get all the way down the field and score a touchdown, that doesn't do you any good. So you have to be able to put some points on the board. You would like at least 21 points, because 21 points should give San Francisco enough room to work with. But coming playoff times, when you're playing those better teams that are better offensively, you need more.
Yeah, so, I would also say, look, at their division hasn't been playing that well, right? So they're actually in first place currently in the division. The Rams have been a shell of themselves, what we expected. Seattle and Arizona, again, Arizona winning last night. We were discussing earlier on the show, but that team looks like they're in a mess of a turmoil with the quarterback, Kyler Murray, right, with Cliff Kingsbury, and what they were displaying on the sidelines. I really feel like that's falling apart. This was smart on San Francisco's part to say, look, all these other teams around us right now aren't playing very well.
You mentioned that Arizona team, and I have something to say about that. First of all, if I'm the head coach and he comes out to the sidelines and talks to me that way, he's getting benched. He's getting benched. That's not even a question.
Agreed.
Who the heck do you think you are? It's like the first person that you should respect on your team is your head coach, whether you agree with him or not.
Especially being the star player, because you're just encouraging the fact that players around you now feel like you're untouchable. Like,
right.
You can do or say whatever you want.
And he is in perspective, because he got his contract is guaranteed pretty much. So if they want to get rid of him, they're still paying him.
Yeah, look, it's been a weird dynamic this year in the NFL, and you've seen this from time to time. I feel like the cream's got to rise to the top at some point, and I feel like this is what San Francisco did with this move. You nailed it. Look, Arizona's falling apart.
Yeah, it is.
They're a 500 team at best.
They got 2 wins.
Seattle's overachieving. I still think they're not as good. And then the Rams just don't seem like they have the same firepower they did last season. They're just not clicking on all cylinders.
No.
So this move, to me, puts San Francisco far and ahead. Now the question would be, in the NFC, Philadelphia. Are they better than Philadelphia? If they can produce better than Philadelphia, I think they could be. They have more talent, especially offensively now.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. But we're going to stay in the NFC East. We're going to talk some more NFL. We're going to bring up this gentleman. I'm thank you, Manny, for joining. I'm sure he's going to want to get in on this conversation. But that's Dak Prescott. He is returning this week for the Dallas Cowboys. Do you think this is the right move for this team right now?
Yeah. This is what I said last week. This is why I knew Philadelphia was going to win that game. It was the handwriting was on the wall. I mean, it was the perfect week for Dallas to lose. So that way there wouldn't be a controversy. Now, with that being said, if they lose this week to Detroit, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott because that's going to get people to talk because he will be 0-2 this year.
Yeah, so to me, I would have sat him this week against a team that clearly Cooper Rush could beat and not allow Dak Prescott to go back in. And if they lose this game, which they should win, it's going to just fall back on Dak.
Yeah.
Again, his first game, he 48.3% completion percentage, not very good, 134 yards and an interception. Cooper Rush is averaging 57.7% of his passes are being completed. Over 1,000 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The man hasn't really done much to say, look, he can't beat Detroit.
Yeah.
So I would question this. And especially knowing Dak and his injury situation, he's been hurt now for a couple years where he's had injuries that linger throughout the season. This is a playoff team. The Dallas Cowboys are a playoff team. It pains me to say it sometimes, but they're a playoff team. Do I think they get back to the Super Bowl, win it since 96? No. But check out the Dynasty, the Dallas Cowboys, Sports Unfolded. Great episode that we did all about the Dallas Cowboys and that dynasty from the mid-90s. But what I will say is this. Dak Prescott does not need this kind of negative publicity. It's almost like they're setting him up to fail. It's almost like Jerry Jones, who we know has already voiced his opinion on a quarterback controversy, is hoping for Dak Prescott to fail because guess what? He may save some money in this at the end of the day and try to trade Dak Prescott. I wouldn't be surprised. It would not surprise me in the least.
Interesting. You know, there's a lot to be said about contracts with the quarterbacks because of the recent, happenings of certain quarterbacks that are, in the news. Dak being one of them, but mostly focused on, Cleveland, Carolina, and Arizona. Those quarterbacks have been in the news a lot for, not really the right reasons. So, with all this money being thrown around, first thing I'm a realist when it comes to paying people. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Okay.
So when a quarterback comes into my office and says, "Hey, this is what I want," if your name is Tom Brady, that okay. So you try to shell out as much as you can for Tom Brady. If you've never won anything and you want to get paid more than Tom Brady, I'm saying no.
The problem is, though, the league knows that if you don't have a top-notch quarterback, you're not winning.
Right.
So they're going to keep those guys around, even if they haven't won a championship. The problem I have with this one is that I think Dak Prescott, listen, he's an outstanding human being. We've not heard any negative publicity about him. He seems to be a great person in the community and all the things he does. I just feel like, you're risking him further injuring because he's not 100%. He's ready to go, but he's not 100%. So he could be on the sideline backing up Cooper this week, to me would have made sense. And then if they lose this game, it's almost like you're kind of putting him in a position now where people are going to say, maybe we should have stuck with Cooper. And how's that feel to Dak Prescott?
Well, there's, and New England is going to have the same questions.
Yeah, which we will debate in our football.
You know,
So,
I mean, they're going to be facing that same question.
yeah, we're going to debate
And,
that in our face off.
look, there is also a difference between the coaches.
What
Bill already had this
happened? It
happen
happened once.
before.
Yeah.
He had Drew Bledsoe. Bledsoe was playing great that season at the beginning. Then he got injured, and Tom Brady came in, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Drew Bledsoe did come back in that season
He did.
to play, but he still didn't get that job back.
Yeah. So again, I think totally different situations. When it comes to Mac, less games than
Yeah.
Cooper Rush has been, so you could look at it a couple different ways, but I honestly feel like the Dallas Cowboys it's almost like they feel like they have to lose. I don't know if that's the mentality because they've lost for so many years now.
Yeah, well, they're going to lose in first game of the playoffs anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Manny, little shot at you. Sorry, buddy. Let's talk about those New England Patriots who have made a trade. They've traded tackle Isaiah Wynn in a 2023 fifth-round draft pick to the Philadelphia Eagles for rookie Nakobe Dean, the linebacker from Georgia, who has not seen the field yet for Philadelphia. Do you like this move?
Well, it just blew right past me at first until you reminded me that draft day when we were doing the draft live, by the way.
Check that one out. NFL draft watch party that we did during the draft.
We had talked about the Patriots should have chosen him. And then they went with Cole Strange in the first round, when it should have been the third round that he got him.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. He was one of those players that, we said the Patriots should have drafted. And here he comes.
Yeah. Look, so again, typical Bill Belichick, when we start to criticize some of the moves he makes as a GM, how many times have we said, hey, you know what? He's not a very good GM. This was a great move. Isaiah Wynn has been a bust. And honestly, you pick up guys off the street, you bring guys back is what they've done now. And then you sit there and you say, okay, well, let's get ourselves a young linebacker that can contribute for us now. He's not playing in Philadelphia. So think about all the, that's 6 weeks of no wear and tear on his body. Better for New England. I mean, how great is that to say, look,
yeah,
let's see what the kid got. I thought Bill made a great move here. Great move. Quiet too.
Now, is he in camp right now? Is he with the Patriots already, or is he not going to be suited up this week and it'll be next week?
Because they play Monday, he may be here. He may be playing on Monday. Depending on, I'm sure some packages, maybe special teams. I'm sure he'll make the field this week.
I think it's a good time to get him in there because it is Chicago Bears.
Oh.
Not
There
not
we
saying
go.
that they're not good or anything, but realistically,
Kenny, great move, right? Thank you for joining, Kenny. Yeah. So look, we're going to talk about that game coming up this Monday night, and that's the Chicago Bears. Your thoughts on what New England has to do to win this game, besides show up and get off the plane?
That's Greatovi.
Great Toby. But see, I know Kenny from all his great picks on the NBA preview show. So if you haven't seen that, check out Sports Unfolded NBA preview show.
That's a must-see.
Must-see.
That's a must-see.
Kenny has the Detroit Pistons going to the finals.
No.
But let's go back and talk about this game on Monday night. What New England has to do to be able to win this game.
Like I said,
they don't even get off the plane. They're at home, so get out of their cars.
Yeah, so you go to the field, you put on your uniform and your helmet, and you go out there onto that grassy stuff. And, that's basically what you need to do to win this game.
So you know what scares me about this game? It's like a trap game. Because it seems so easy. It should be so easy. Chicago's averaging 15 points a game. Your defense has been able to basically shut people down, only giving up 18 points a game. So you're like, okay, we should be okay. Their defense averages about 19.7 points they allow, Chicago. We average 23. So again, if you're playing the odds, you start to look at the fact that there's so many different ways that New England should win this game. But yeah, very good pass, elite pass defense. So they're third overall against the pass, Chicago, which scares me. But 29th against the rush. You need Ramondre Stevenson. Again, we talked about it last week. 25 plus carries. Allow him to just run the ball. Big question is going to be Mac Jones. Is he playing, not playing? I didn't look at the injury report, but there's speculation he will be playing this week.
I hope not.
If that's the case, you would think Mac's back in because you'd want a passing attack. This is not the team to do that against.
See, I think Mac should stay out one more week because I picked up Bailey Zappi
In your fantasy league?
in my fantasy league because I my quarterback he's got a bye.
So you should have
I
prepared.
have Hurts, and this could hurt because if Bailey isn't in, then that means I have to go with Seattle's quarterback.
Hey, your boy Gino, though. You were high on Gino, so that's big for you.
Yeah, but he play like the Chargers or something?
Chicago, also the second best rushing team in the league, 170.7 rushing yards per game. That's more about the quarterback. It's not what we saw with Cleveland with Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb, you can key a guy and try to get to him.
Yeah, you just
running
gotta
mobile quarterback.
You gotta spy Fields,
right? And so again, these are some of those little things that could scare me, because if he's able to just move around and get out of the pocket and gain yardage, it's very hard to stop. How many times on a third down do you have a quarterback? It's 3rd and 7. You're like, okay, great, and he's able to just make some moves and get out and get a first down, keep the ball, the momentum moving.
Yeah.
And again, I would question the Mac Jones situation. Is he back? If he is, then can we really say, look, is this the best thing for the team this week?
I don't know.
They've played some good football.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you see Mac Jones in there, then he is convinced that Mac Jones is the guy. If you see Bailey Zappi not only this week but next week, then you can pretty much see the writing on the wall for Mac Jones. Now, with that being said, if they do choose to go with Zappi, are you comfortable with that decision? That is what you gotta.
I would believe they're saying that he's better suited to win this game this week than Mac is. So I would have to be okay with it. So
when is the trade deadline?
He's limited practice. He's not ruled out.
Yeah, but when is the trade deadline?
First week of November. They're not trading Mac Jones.
You don't know that.
They're not trading Mac Jones. He's too cheap. They wouldn't even waste their time. They keep him under contract for the next 4 years at a low rate.
I'm just saying, if you can get a haul.
Yeah, nobody's going to pick, not for what he's. Mac Jones last 10 games. Yeah, 12-12.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There are some teams out there that probably are feeling they made a mistake in the draft within the last couple of years. There are some teams that are thinking they made a mistake in who they picked up as a quarterback.
The only team I would say right now, realistically, if this was even going to happen, would be the Carolina Panthers.
Denver?
Not after the money they threw at Russell Wilson. They can't afford it.
I'm just saying. You never know.
I could see a Carolina who has a ton of draft picks now saying, hey, look, if New England's interested, but I highly doubt it. It'd be something I can't imagine happening. But
I'm just saying.
We'll see.
I'm throwing it out there because it is worth noting that it's a possibility.
Yeah, it is. Anything's possible.
I mean, you don't know with Bill. I mean,
And
if
Mac-
he can get a haul, you know,
Stay tuned. We're going to debate
like think about
Bailey
this.
Zappi versus Mac Jones in our face.
If
Also,
Carolina says, "Hey, we'll give you a first round pick for Mac Jones," would you take it?
No.
Why not?
I'd want more than a first rounder.
But that first round is going to be in the top 3.
You would think, but if Mac Jones makes him a little better,
You think he's going to make him that much better?
no. But he could.
Aren't they the
it
worst
should
right
still
now?
be listen, if you're a New England Patriot fan, you don't want a top 5 pick because that just means you're trading out into the second round and getting like 3 second round picks. No, I don't want that. Absolutely not. Because that's all he's going to do with it. And we know it. So let's move on. Ron, your games of interest this week. There weren't
Games
many.
of
This is a
interest.
tough week. There's not a
Games
lot
of
big
interest.
games.
I'm not even sure my games of interest are
Interesting.
interesting enough. Well, I mean, realistically, the only true one that is really good is Kansas City at San Francisco.
Yeah, Chiefs 49ers, one of the games I had.
That's about it.
I had also the Browns at the Ravens,
Yeah.
and it's more about if look, Cleveland needs to win some games before Watson comes back because that was the plan. They're starting to lose, and if they lose
Yeah.
in a division, that's going to kill them. And then the last game I had, and they're both 3-3. And is this team for real? Atlanta Falcons at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, come on.
But again, both of these teams are kind of up in the air. Steelers, Dolphins, I just don't feel it right now. And Pittsburgh, we don't even know who they're starting quarterback.
I thought you were going to go with the Detroit-Dallas game. Because that's an interesting one.
Detroit's 1-5.
I know, but they have some offense that they could surprise somebody, and they're going to surprise somebody.
Not against that defense. Dallas's defense way too good.
Hey, I don't know. I think this is an upset waiting to happen.
And I can't go Steelers, Dolphins, Manny. I'm sorry. I just don't. To me, Pittsburgh's not that good of a team, and the Dolphins just don't know who they are anymore.
And Tua is going to get hurt again. Mark my words.
Straight dropped the ball the last 3 weeks. Manny, as a Dallas Cowboy fan now, is going to defend the Cowboys to no end.
Yeah,
But
well, watch. They're on alert right now for an upset. That's
But again, Atlanta 3-3. Surprisingly, could win the South.
Oh,
They could be better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by the end of the year. It's true.
No.
They've got the same record.
That's absurd. That's
and they should have
absurd.
beaten them, except for that bogus passing, roughing the
They're
passer.
terrible. They're terrible.
They're 3-3.
Yeah, I don't care.
The Bengals
Okay.
3-3. Are the Bengals any good? We don't know.
Yes.
No, you
Bengals
assume.
are.
We don't know.
Yes, we do.
And here we go.
No, come on. Atlanta's just terrible. They have nothing.
You said that about the Giants as well, and now
They
look
are
at the Giants.
terrible.
5-1
I'm sorry. That is the most
Second best
overrated
record.
team. Oh,
in the NFC East. Ron, it's triple play time. We're doing a little hockey, my friend. And these 3 scorers lead the league in scoring currently. Granted, it's a very small sample size, but Panarin, Connor McDavid, and Rantanen.
Not Rat.
I said Rantanen. Rantanen?
Yes.
So let's decide who we're going to start, bench, and cut from these 3 players. I am first this week. So
if I would have realized that, I wouldn't have wrote down all these stats.
Yes, I will lead us off. And there is no doubt in my mind that you start Connor McDavid. 244 goals in his career, 463 assists, 707 points. He's a plus 93. And the reason why I would want him on my team is he's only 25 years old. So you think about the numbers he's put up, and he's only 25. He's still got another 10 solid years of his career based on what we see currently in the NHL. I am benching Rantanen again because of the age. 25 years old, 168 goals, so he's less than Panarin. But I like the fact that he's 25. And so again, I know I have this guy for the next 10 years plus. And again, solid numbers though, 168 goals, 249 assists, plus 44 in his career. Panarin, I cut, even as great as his numbers are, 190 goals, 390 assists. He's a plus 134, which is remarkable, but he's 30 years old. So I don't feel like you're getting the longevity you will with the other two. So that's how I see it. That's the way I went.
Okay, so just to clarify, he is actually turning 31
31.
in
Yes.
a couple of days.
Yeah, I know, but he's still 30 right now. I saw that. It's literally days away.
So, I got to give it to you. You actually chose right.
Thank you, sir.
Look, Connor McDavid is special. Like, there's no doubt about that. Like, he is the best player in the league right now. Sorry, Pittsburgh fans, but that is fact.
No, right now, absolutely. And you got to go, if you're going to even say Crosby, the age difference alone.
No.
I'm just saying, if you were going to argue the Crosby thing,
no.
McDavid's going to be.
Why would I argue that?
I know you wouldn't.
Look, Connor McDavid is, okay, 5 All-Star games. He's won 4 Art Ross trophies.
Does that mean he was a 5-time All-Star? I'm just making. I didn't know if we. Okay.
Okay, 4 Art Ross and 2 Hart trophies for MVP. Art Ross is scoring, by the way. Look, I mean, those numbers that he has, I mean, he's clearly the best player, so you have to start him. You have to. On the bench, of course, I put Mikko Rantanen. For more than just the reason that you stated, age was a big factor in that decision for mine as well. But he has won a Stanley Cup, the only one of these 3 that has won a Stanley Cup. So in order to teach Connor McDavid how to be a champion, you need a champion to do that.
Love your thought process on that.
So
great way to look at it.
So even if Panarin had, numbers that were really better, and they are better, but it's been a longer career. Yeah. And I think when you match up Rantanen's numbers of games to how many Panarin has played, those numbers will be better.
Yeah, agreed.
Those are improving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not taking anything away from Panarin, I think he's a hell of a player, and I'd love to have him in Boston. But I'm going to go youth that can score this early in their career.
Absolutely. No, great pick and roll. And think about it. I mean, the season's only a couple of games in, and I think all these guys are almost double digits in scoring already. So,
yeah,
pretty impressive. And I don't think there's been more than 3 games played by any team. So,
some of them have played 4 or 5.
Yeah.
6.
We are on to the NBA. Kenny, I know, is listening patiently now to hear what we're going to talk about. We're going to bring this guy back on the screen. He came back last night. Kawhi Leonard, after missing about 16 months, has returned
somewhere around there
to the Los Angeles Clippers. How important is him being healthy this season for this team to be successful?
If he stays healthy the entire season, this team could make a playoff push. If everybody on their team is healthy, they can really do some damage in the league. I am skeptical they can stay healthy all the way through. So I had them, being in a play-in game. So, but they need him in order to be successful in the season.
So I think the benefit last season of him not playing 42 and 40, 9th, they made the play-in tournament. they've added some pieces with John Wall. I like the
Yes.
Reggie Jackson. Obviously, Paul George. We know what he brings to the table. But all these guys with their age concerns, they're in their mid-30s now. You start to question Kawhi Leonard's health. Can he stay healthy?
John
Again,
Wall's health.
if this guy stays healthy, 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, obviously the 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, knows how to win the big games.
Well, didn't Wall get 14 points himself
Yes,
coming
last
off
night.
the bench? So, I mean, if he's going to contribute that many points coming off the bench, I mean,
that's
things look
phenomenal.
good for the Clippers.
And then again, you're adding a guy now that's a 7-time All-Defensive Player, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year.
And who
So-
did they beat?
Your boy, your Christmas card. They need both on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, they do.
mean, Paul George, that this whole move to get Paul George there, and we think about 3 years ago when this all came together, and we were all excited about it, and then it just hasn't materialized because these guys haven't been able to stay healthy long enough to see the product for a good sample size. It's like going to one of those wholesale clubs and they give you a little cup and they only put, you know what I mean? Half of you just don't know how good the food is. So until we actually see these guys, a good 60, 70 games, we don't know what they can be. Because Paul George, very good defensively as well. He doesn't get enough credit for his defensive prowess.
No,
So-
it should be a great team. I had this team, I believe, finishing 4th last year. And the injuries completely derailed it. But, so we never really got to see the team.
Yeah.
And now we got a little taste, this week
Of what it could
and
be.
what it could be.
But I would also say they didn't dominate the Lakers.
No, I'm not
So
saying they did either.
but you win. W's are W's. That's all that matters.
Right.
And they were able to control. And if you think about how bad the Lakers shot, that's because of the defense that was played. Russell Westbrook, though, impressive, 0 for 11.
Yeah.
This seems like it's going to work out well for them.
Oh,
this
and didn't AD almost hurt himself?
it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of
Well,
time.
he hit the floor hard, so he could be sore coming into the next game.
Oh,
so
boy.
I'm just letting you know it's already starting with AD.
Detroit Pistons won, though. Great call, Kenny. They beat the Orlando Magic. I mean, that's
Yes, the Orlando Magic, that powerhouse.
Banchero, though, look at that. 25. I think it was 25, 7 and 6 or something. The kid put up some numbers.
Yeah,
pretty
because
impressive
he's
for a
the
rookie.
only good player.
He's going to be the one guy in Atlanta, poor guy. It's Major League Baseball time.
It's okay. In a couple of years, he'll get traded.
Let's discuss the championship series here. So there's obviously two series going on, the AL and NL championship series. We got the Philadelphia Phillies versus I'm getting better at this. Philadelphia Phillies versus the San Diego Padres. That series is tied 1-1. Game 3 tonight. Your thoughts on that series?
This is going to be the only remaining good series of the playoffs.
He just wants to get me fired up for the next one, and I'm going to try to keep my cool. I think Major League Baseball, you have to be excited about the fact that you got teams in there that honestly haven't been to the series in a while. So I think that creates some interest. But to me, the San Diego Padres are the story here, because if you think about that kid that's been sitting on the bench waiting to play, and finally everybody graduated and he gets to play, and you say, wow, look at how good this kid was. They've been building this up. They've been trying to compete with the Los Angeles Dodgers for years now and spending money now. And you think about how much money they spent this season. To me, this is their opportunity to get there. And as a guy that I'm saying probably hopes they don't, and that's Fernando Tatis Jr. Because if they can prove they can win without him, he's probably on the trading block.
Oh, he's going to be on the trading block anyway.
So, to me, he's probably the only person rooting against the Padres right now, other than the Philadelphia Phillies fans.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? So it should be an interesting series. But Bryce Harper, again, here's a guy that we've criticized in the past. And look what he's been able to do with Philly.
Yeah.
And your boy Schwarber. I know you were upset about the Red Sox letting him go. And look, again,
oh my God, it was just so dumb.
He gets a team to a championship series. These are the guys, these are those pieces
Yeah.
Very interesting series because that one could go either way.
Oh yeah, that's like I said, it's the last
Yeah,
remaining
I
good
get what you're.
series in the playoffs.
I get it. So let's talk a little bit about the ALCS, and that's the New York Yankees versus the Houston Astros. The Astros are up 2-0 in this
Hey.
series.
You were a foot away from winning game 2.
Yeah.
1 foot.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. Wasn't there a football game decided by 1 foot?
Let's talk about the Houston Astros and the New York Yankees series. Your expectations on what's going to is this a sweep, Ron?
It could be. It could be. I mean, you would think that the Yankees offense would at least come alive for one game. I mean, the good thing is that you're, like I said, you're 1 foot away from a home run
Well, the benefit
from Judge.
The benefit of being home is that would have been a home run in Yankee Stadium. So,
Yeah,
again, if they can hit the ball, look, the problem with the New York Yankees, and I've said it all season, and I'm going to continue to say it is they don't put the ball in play. They're either trying to hit it out, they're trying to gain a walk,
right,
or they're striking out, and they strike out way too many times. You're going to strike out double digits for game 1 17 times. 17 times you strike out.
The problem isn't necessarily that theory. The problem is they don't have enough of guys that can put the ball in play.
Yeah, they don't have hitters. They're not built to hit.
When you look at that Houston lineup, I mean, it is just littered with guys that can put the ball in play. Everybody can hit it out. Everybody can hit a base hit. Everybody can hit a double.
I think Altuve is like 0 for 30 now in the playoffs. It's like a record.
Yeah,
which is surprising.
But
well, see, the thing is now, if you can't bang a drum or have those little earpieces in your ear to make sure that you can get the calls. Now,
Altuve is just waiting for a clutch time. He hasn't had to worry about that.
He's just waiting for another way to cheat.
No, I'm just saying, he is a guy that always comes up big at the right time.
So can I ask you this question? The Houston Astros win. Do you not question if they cheated again based on their past history?
No.
Now, I'm not saying just with the Yankees. If they win the whole thing.
I don't.
Why? Based on
what I know, I think it's more along the lines of the guy that went to Boston.
You think Cora wasn't their manager at the time, though? He was in that organization.
Wasn't he their bench coach?
He was one of the guys that kind of helped, yes.
To be honest with you, I think he was the orchestrator of it, because what did he do when he went to Boston?
He won, and again, we know they cheated as well. So, good.
This is what I'm saying. It's like, that's who I blame. And and you know this because I think I said it on the preview show that I did not want Cora back.
No, I agree with you. I don't think it was a good move. And I'm not a Red Sox fan, and I thought it was a horrible look for the organization.
No, and karma bit them in the behind this season because of that, and the manager should have been Jason Varitek.
So let's talk about another manager, and we're going to bring him up, and that's John Schneider, who has now become the head manager for the Toronto Blue Jays, no longer the interim tag. The right decision by the team?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. He did get him to the playoffs. But to be honest with you, they should have won the division. They had the pitching and the hitting, and how they did not get that pitching, I don't know.
Yeah, so I think this was a horrible move. And I'm not, look, I think John Schneider did a great job, 46-28, replacing Charlie Montoya. But they get the top wild card spot at 92-70 in the American League. They face the Seattle Mariners, who hadn't been in the playoffs since 2001.
And lost.
A very young team. You blow an 8-1 lead in game 2 and lose 10-9. So then you decide as an organization, this is the guy I want running my organization next season, because clearly he shows he can win when it counts.
You know who I'd want as a manager?
Who would you want as a manager? Besides Jason Varitek?
Besides Jason Varitek? Okay, do you remember last season when St. Louis made that run, made the playoffs,
Yeah.
made a big splash,
Yep. And he got fired.
and he got fired for that?
Yep.
That's who I'd want.
Say what?
That's who I'd want. I don't even
Yeah, so
remember who it was.
I just a questionability. Like, why, as an organization, what did you look at? What did you see that we don't see?
Well, this is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm guessing it's the right decision for them. Like,
So you're accepting the fact that you'll probably finish third in the division every
like
year
they should have won the
and
division.
lose in the playoffs.
That team should have won the division.
They're loaded. They have so much talent on that team.
Yeah.
And then you bring this guy in, and he just basically coughed away the playoffs.
Because when I look at it, it's like, okay, so they have Judge. Like, nobody's hitting as well as Judge
Except in the playoffs.
during the regular season.
Yes, we know, Ron. Yes.
1 point. But after that, clearly Toronto has the better lineup. I mean, 2 through 9, they're better.
Yeah, but and this is what I'm saying. I to me, they should have waited, got a manager that has won in the postseason. It just makes more sense. But I wish him luck. Good luck, John Schneider. Congratulations on, get the hiring, and we wish him well. It's not that we want to see people fail.
You gotta wonder if there was, some sort of negotiations trying to find somebody that they wanted, and maybe they couldn't.
I will give him this advice, just based on what we've seen with the Boston Celtics. Don't sleep with the owner's wife, because that could come back to bite you. Just saying.
Is that what?
That's the rumor kind of out there. And the only reason why they've suspended him is, the more I'm hearing, is because Brooklyn wanted to hire him, and then they're refusing to let him go to Brooklyn.
Wow.
But it was a done deal. He was going.
I don't
But again,
know.
I could be wrong. This is all speculation.
Could. Yeah, all speculation.
But it just, the whole situation. Ron, it's face-off time, and we're going to debate on our New England Patriots, and should they continue to start Bailey Zappi over Mac Jones. I am first this week, so I get to pick which direction I'm going in. And I am going with Mac. I am going with Mac, and I'm going to tell you why.
Of course you are.
So, Mac Jones has proven that he can win in this league. And people in New England, fans in New England, you see the flash in the pan, you start getting all these, butterflies in your stomach. Here comes the second coming of Tom Brady, and it's happening all over again in New England, and we're going to have Zappi for the next 20 years and get to 6 more Super Bowls. It's not going to happen. He's a good quarterback who was asked not to make a mistake. That's all Zappi was. You can't grow this offense or be a better offense with Zappi. All you can do is say, continue to play this way, hope your defense continues to stop them, and be able to rush for 150 yards a game. The first time that starts to struggle, I do not want to see this kid slinging the ball 45 times. I'd prefer to see Mac Jones in that situation, because it's going to happen. They're going to need to throw the ball. They're going to need to have a passing offense at some point. Zappi is not that quarterback. Go ahead.
Okay, last week.
Yep.
You said
I said
you would rather have Zappi in there because he fits the offense better.
I said I would prefer him in there. I said for the team right now. Right now.
This offense, he fits the defense. Fits the offense better than Mac Jones. That's what you said.
No,
go look it up.
I will. I said he's better for this team now. Not that he's better for the offense. I don't see the offense growing with Zappi.
Look, he's just making better decisions, Eric.
Currently,
he's making better decisions.
Yes.
And, when it all comes down to it, you want somebody in there that is making the correct decisions.
If you had to choose the two of them, if they were just on the street right now and knowing what you know prior to anything else, who are you picking?
I'm picking Zappy because
Based on
he's
what?
been
He's a
based.
fourth-round quarterback who Mac Jones, a
Wait,
number one quarterback who
no,
won a national championship.
don't bring in the round that they drafted in Tom Brady.
Okay.
You know,
And did Tom Brady also have an entire year before he got into the New England
yes,
Patriots offense?
he most certainly
So
did.
now we're going to say Zappy after
No,
6
that's
weeks.
not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's making better decisions,
Yeah.
In the game this season than what Mac Jones is making.
Okay, so the same there we have with the Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys. They're playing the Chicago Bears this week. If Mac Jones can't beat the Chicago Bears, then I absolutely 100% agree with you
If he's
that
playing.
Zappy should be in. But here's a
he's
great
playing.
opportunity. If he plays, yes.
I personally wouldn't even start him this week because, you want to get him healthier for a tougher competitor.
Next week. They got the Jets the next 2 out of the next
Right.
3 weeks after this.
And that's
Now
who
you want to bring him in against a quality team and not give him an opportunity.
I'm just saying. If he's
I
that
think
good,
people are
if he's
just-
that much, look, Zappy just stepped in and started winning. So why
Yeah,
can't Mac Jones?
Which is great. Exactly. And you can't tell me Mac's not a better quarterback. You can't.
I'm not saying
There's
I'm not
no
saying
way.
he is. I'm not saying he
So-
isn't.
So why
I'm
in
just
New
saying
England is
that-
the first thought process is because the guy's 2-0, we're going to start him over Mac Jones and just basically say, okay, where do you go from there? You even said it earlier in the show. Maybe they trade Mac Jones. It's like we've got a year and 4 games of Mac Jones out the door because he stinks. Because Zappy's
No,
the
that's
best
not
thing
what.
to ever happen to the New
Look,
England Patriots.
I said that they could possibly trade him because of what they can get for him.
Okay, and then you'd be suffice saying that the New England Patriots starting quarterback is Bailey Zappi for the rest of the year. And you'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be okay.
Beating
I'm just saying.
Detroit and Cleveland. That's all he's beaten. And we know what the mess both those teams are.
I'm just saying that, look, you've got to look at the whole picture here. Now, is Bill Belichick thinking that they're a playoff team? That is what you got to look at. If he's not, then you take it for what it's worth. Okay, they are 3-3 right now. 3-3. Right now, they are not a playoff team. The AFC is got a lot of good teams in it, and a lot of teams that are trying to find their way through this difficult season. We don't even know what we have right now. And I don't think Bill knows what he has right now because I don't even know if he has made a decision on who the quarterback of this team is going to be going forward.
I just think it'd be a
And
mistake
that-
to give
and
up on
that
a
in itself-
second-year kid that. And I'm not saying, look, he's made mistakes, but at the same time, I know he's a quarterback. There's no doubt in my mind that he's a better quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, you don't know what we have right now. And until they know, then it doesn't
I know
matter.
that Mac Jones was 10-7 last season and got him to the playoffs.
Yes, I know that. I know that.
I know Bailey Zappi's beating Detroit and Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then again, if he plays this week, he's going to beat Chicago.
Right.
So then all of a sudden it gets even worse because, okay, he's beating 3 top quality teams in the NFL that are going to the playoffs.
No. Look, this is, this is what, we're reduced to right
And
now.
I'm not saying Mac Jones is perfect because he's not. And I don't think the New England Patriots make it to the Super Bowl this season with Mac Jones. What I would say is he's a better quarterback for this team for the long haul. Bailey Zappi has played good football for this team to get them back to learning how to win.
Yeah.
Now Mac Jones takes over and continues that run. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Yes,
unfortunately,
5 interceptions.
unfortunately, we don't know the direction that the team is heading. That's the unfortunate part. And we're all speculating. Right now, Zappy has been in there and he hasn't made
I will ask you this question.
mistakes.
we can move on. But let me ask you this question. 2 years ago, Tom Brady decides he's leaving.
Yeah.
Who was our starting quarterback? Just say his name. It's okay. You can say it. You can say
Newton.
it. You'll get through it. So what did we say that year when the Patriots went 7-9? It was a rebuild, correct? We're like, oh, we're in a rebuild,
Sure.
right? So then you drafted a quarterback in the first round
Yeah.
the following year
Yeah.
to hopefully start to build your team back up.
Hey,
And
look, this is the
fans in New
decision
England-
you gave me. I didn't choose to go with Zach.
And what I'm saying is, now fans. Okay, I'm not saying you, because obviously the way this game works, yeah, you have to take one side. But fans in New England are ready to just basically say, look, let's just blow it up in 2 years again and rebuild again, because that's exactly what would happen.
No.
You just go through another rebuild. You're never going to get better again if you don't
No,
start
I don't
to
see.
get
I
a
don't
quarterback that can win.
look. I
He
don't.
needs to learn
I
how to
don't
win.
think. I don't think the Patriots are in that kind of a position.
If you dump Mac Jones, you would be.
I don't necessarily believe that. Okay. Now, would you, like I said before, would you give up Mac Jones for, like, say, that top 3 pick in the draft? And I would. I know I would. I try to get something else later on as well, but if I'm thinking, okay, so
You're also asking for lightning to strike twice, because if you get a first-round quarterback, you're expecting him to play well enough to win. It doesn't happen very often. We got lucky last season that it happened.
I'm
Doesn't
not
mean it
drafting a
happens
quarterback in that first round with that pick. I'm getting a difference maker.
We think Zach Wilson was the top 3 pick.
No. A difference maker. You know,
But that's what I'm saying. You could
that
sit there and say
stud
Trevor Lawrence was the
defensive
first-round
player.
pick. Mac is not overrated. He's not under. He's an average to good quarterback. Nobody's saying he's a superstar.
Yeah, no.
And I think
that's
that's
not
the
what we're
problem. People think
debating
we're
here.
trying to say he's Tom Brady. He's
No.
not. He's not even close.
And that's why I'm saying,
He's a good
you know,
quarterback that if you get enough talent and guys that learn how to win around him, he can win games. He won in Alabama. Was he the best player on Alabama? Absolutely not. Look at the first-round draft picks that came out of that school, that class.
The thing that I compare is Mac Jones has that brain like a Brady, and Jimmy Garoppolo had that brain as well. And that's what he tries to draft. He tries to draft smart players. You know, so when you have that smart player as a quarterback, it tends to bring out the best in other people because you're using that brain to, you know, against the defense, you know, what they're going to be showing, you know, as a scheme. And when you can process all of that, that helps immensely. You might not have the best arm, you might not have the best legs, you know, but if you have the best brain, you can do a hell of a lot more than everybody else.
And I will also say this, and we'll end on this. He ran an offense last year that's completely different.
Yeah.
Bailey Zappi came in with this playbook, and that's all he knows. So before we sit there and say Mac Jones, yes, he's 2 and 5 touchdowns, interceptions, and he's making bad mistakes, and his completion percentage isn't as good. He's also trying to learn a new offense and forget everything he learned last season. Bailey Zappi only has to learn what he's learned now. That's it. Yeah. There is no more.
I know.
So
with that ending, I clearly won the argument.
Yeah, okay, sure.
But
you twisted my words. I said Bailey Zappi was a better quarterback for the team right now, not overall. But again, you want to sit there and say I said he was a better quarterback for the team. NHL time.
With that being said, they need to keep Mac.
They need to keep Mac, without a doubt.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some NHL. And we've got a key injury here for the defending champions, the Colorado Avalanche, and Gabriel Landeskog. Landeskog. will miss 12 weeks due to a injury. How do you think this is going to affect their upcoming season?
It's going to be a big, big gap, but they are the defending champions. They are a good team. If the Bruins can still win without Marchand, I'm sure they can get by a little while without this guy. I mean, 12 weeks, we're looking at late January.
Yeah, but I would say, look, captain of the team.
Yep.
You already lost, Kadri, who was another big key. The West already, and I'm going to ask you this question. Teams ahead of them right now, I know it's very early in the season, but Vegas, Dallas, Calgary, and the Kings. Probably the Kings, the only team maybe they're better than, right? Currently.
Look, they can sleepwalk and still make the playoffs.
I'm not saying they can't make the playoffs. I'm just saying to repeat, which is one of the hardest things to do. And you've already got teams that are ahead of you that are playing very good hockey and look like they're going to be very competent teams this season to possibly win a cup. Teams behind them, Nashville and St. Louis. They're in that mix of these teams that look with a couple of, and Edmonton as well, a couple of these teams that could honestly, you're losing players now, and that chemistry, what you had last season, it could be questionable. Look, 30 goals, 29 assists last season for him.
It doesn't matter, Eric, because by the time they get him back, they're going to have a couple of months of more time for him to get back into playing shape and get back in there. Colorado is still going to be in the middle of that pack somewhere, and that is enough time for them to gather it up and make a push.
Okay.
This team is not in any trouble. They're not in any trouble.
Okay. Even with the goaltending situation as well.
Even with the goaltending situation.
Okay.
That'll fix itself.
Losing players, goaltender, they're still great. Okay.
They will still put it together.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
So let's talk one more story that came out of the NHL. And that's Commissioner Gary Bettman, who has stated that he believes the salary cap could increase by $4 million next season. How's this going to affect free agency? So we talk about a lot of these teams being at the cap and having to get rid of players just to be under the cap. It's a hard cap in the NHL. Is this a good move for the NHL? Can this help?
Yeah, it's going to help big
I know
time.
Boston.
It's going to help Boston, that's for sure, because they have to sign Pasta.
Yeah.
And, we were looking at probably somewhere around $9 million for Pasta. And if he keeps this torrid pace up, it's going to be 10.
So I'll ask you this, though. Again, do you think this will affect them where they maybe overpay players now? Similar to
they're already doing it. They're already doing it.
So it's similar to what you see in the NBA, you see in the NFL. The caps go up, which is great. But then that means the player salaries just get to a point where you say, why are we paying this guy that much money?
I am in fear of at least 26 teams because they're paying too much, and they are going to be strapped, and I just don't think that they realize how bad of a situation they are in. Because I'm looking at all these teams, and, when they're right up against that cap, they're going to have to play around to get anybody to sign next year. And the Bruins are one of those teams. Like, we know that, next year we're going to have to re-sign Bergeron. Because he's not done. It's obvious he's not done. He's just going to take it 1 year at a time and milk it for like 5 more years.
Yeah.
So, look, they have to sign Pasternak. Now, he's going to get a huge raise. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's somewhere in the ballpark of 8.5 right now. 9, somewhere around there. So he's going to get a raise. So I'm thinking he's going to get more than $10 million this year. I mean, this next contract
season, yeah.
Now, I think Boston is feeling a little comfortable.
Yeah, but is $4 million enough? Do you think that the cap should be higher?
Well, it can't go higher. I mean, it all depends on the revenues.
Yeah.
You know,
They got the
they're
new
thinking,
contract with the TV. I can't see how that's not
yeah,
making
they're
more money.
projecting. They had projected
TNT, right?
1 or 2 million
ESPN now.
more, but now they're projecting another couple of million to go on top of that. And look, the NHL knows that these teams are all strapped. It's like when Patrick Kane becomes available at trade deadline, there's not a whole lot of teams that are going to be able to get him. And then the Bruins are thinking, well, who's going to be able to sign Pasternak next year? Not many.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think it's great that the league's able to increase, but I also feel like you're going to get some foolish spending just by.
Yeah,
some people.
I've already
That's
seen
what
that.
happened.
Like, look, Tampa Bay is overpaying their players. Like,
Yeah.
period. They should have kept Palat and given him the money and cut some of these other guys. Like get Sorelli and all them. Like Palat was the better player.
Yeah.
They're just not spending it wisely. I think they're overpaying too many players because they're young. But like Barzal, like really, we had discussed him.
Yeah,
like
we did.
personally,
Islanders, right?
I don't know why anybody is saying Barzal was the reason why the Bruins draft was a bust. Because, frankly, Jake DeBrusk is a better player.
Yeah, he has more points. He scored more goals, yeah. So, Ron, it's pick and roll time. This might not be as the hardest one we've ever done. This is an easy one, I thought. In 1980, so obviously 42 years ago, at 42, these players led the NFL receiving yards, and we're going to rank them from 6 to 1. And the players are John Jefferson, Kellen Winslow, James Lofton, Charlie Joyner, Ahmad Rashad, and Steve Largent. I am first this week, so I will give you the correct list.
Wait, are we doing it by their broadcasting skills?
Oh, then it's Ahmad Rashad all day, every day. I used to love Ahmad Rashad on the sidelines. I remember that him and OJ. He used to interview OJ.
Yeah.
We know how that turned out.
So it was Ahmad all this time.
We've just solved it after how many years? So I'll lead us off. At number 6, I went with John Jefferson, 351 receptions, 5,714 yards, 16.3 yards per reception, 47 touchdowns, 4 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros. Okay numbers, nothing that wild. I guess his best year might have been that year in 1980. And the fact nobody on this list won a championship, by the way. At number 5, Ahmad Rashad, 495 receptions, 6,831 yards, 13.8 yards per reception, 44 touchdowns, 4 Pro Bowls, no All-Pros. Again, better commentator. At number 4, Kellen Winslow, 541 receptions, 6,741 yards, 12.5 yards per reception, lowest of this group, 45 touchdowns, 5 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros. He is in the Hall of Fame. At number 3, I went Charlie Joyner, 750 receptions for 12,146 yards, 16.2 yards per reception, 65 touchdowns, 3 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro. Again, in the Hall of Fame. At number 2, and he had some decent numbers, James Lofton, 764 receptions, 14,004 yards, 18.3 yards per reception, which was highest on this list of any guy, 75 touchdowns, 8 Pro Bowls, which was the most on this list, and 1 All-Pro. He's a Hall of Famer as well. But this guy at number 1, loved Steve Largent, 819 receptions, 13,089 yards, so a little less than Lofton, 16 yards per reception, which was a little less than Lofton, but 100 touchdowns in his career, 7 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro, again, a Hall of Famer. And here's the only thing that I would start to say is people will question some of these numbers. that it wasn't a passing league back then at all. And hence why some of these numbers seem kind of lower than what we're used to seeing today. But obviously, again, they didn't throw the ball as much as they do today. So some decent numbers for at least Joyner, Lofton, and Largent in my eyes. But that was my list.
Yeah, you got it wrong.
Yeah, okay.
You got the top 2 right, but that's about it.
All right, here we go.
That's about it.
Go ahead. I got to hear this one. You got it.
All right, number 6 is Ahmad Rashad.
Who had 140 more receptions than Jefferson, but okay.
Yes, but he also played 37 more games than Jefferson.
Okay.
So, and being in that many more games, he had less touchdowns than Jefferson. So I'll take the touchdowns. Thank you. And yes, they both had 4 Pro Bowls, but Jefferson actually was 2-time All-Pro.
Yeah.
Ahmad, the big goose egg. So
Okay.
Ahmad was the least talented of all these players.
Okay.
So Jefferson was number 5 for me.
Okay.
Number 4 is you also messed up. It is not Kellen Winslow. It is Charlie Joyner.
200 more receptions, but okay.
Yes, you're right. 200
and almost
more
double the
receptions
yardage. And almost double the yardage.
Almost double the yardage.
Yeah.
Right. You are correct.
And 20 more
touchdowns. Correct.
He played longer. There we go.
He also had 130 more games played.
Okay.
More than double Kellen Winslow. Now, normally I like that longevity, but with Kellen Winslow, I definitely think that the skill level was there.
Lowest yards per reception on this list as well.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Tight end, and tight ends weren't used the same as they are now.
Okay.
They aren't, and they weren't. You know
this. They were both on the same team, which is pretty remarkable.
Yes. But if you double all of that, his numbers far exceeds Charlie Joyner, and because of how I liked how Winslow played in that time, I take him a little higher than Charlie Joyner. Number 2, of course, is James Lofton. You cannot deny those numbers. 75 touchdowns, pretty awesome. 8 Pro Bowls is pretty awesome. And number 1, of course, Steve Largent. To me, that was an easy decision. Even if you're just going by those touchdowns, 100 touchdowns was just far and away better than anybody.
Not a championship, none of them. It's a shame.
No, but Steve Largent did win the Walter Payton Award.
He did. Yes, he got a trophy. Yes,
he got a trophy.
Woo!
A trophy.
Well worth it. Hey, interesting list though. Again, it doesn't always have to be the top guys. And again, we saw it a little different, so it's pretty fun.
And when you get things like this, when people don't know who they are, this brings back a little, and now people might want to do some research. You might want to do some research, and
you want to see Steve Largent. He was phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal. Ron, it's prediction time.
Predictions,
and we're gonna bring it up. And I don't know why we're not showing up on the picture anymore, but we still neck and neck. You did gain a win. You gained a yard. Good job. You gained a win, so you're up by 2 currently. Manny is creeping up. He's 54% now, so he had a good week as well. But you guys are on.
I only got 1 wrong last week.
You got only 1 wrong last week, so really good week for you. Manny, if you're on, Kenny, if you're on, and you guys want to join in, Smog of War, if you're on and you want to join in as well, guys, give us your picks. We're going to start off with 10-22, and that is the Colorado Avalanche at the Vegas Golden Knights. I am first this week, so I will give you my pick. I'm going Vegas. They look very good so far, and I think these injuries and some of this changeover with Colorado, Vegas got something to prove. And they got the former Bruins coach there that I know how excited you are about, and he's doing very well. So how great would it be a Boston, Vegas Stanley Cup? I'm going Vegas.
I am going Vegas as well. Home team.
Great analysis there. I love it. Manny, Kenny, if you're on and you wanna chime in with a pick, let us
You want to
know.
add to
Manny's
that?
going Vegas as well.
Manny goes Vegas.
Kenny's going
Las
Vegas.
Vegas.
Vegas. He's got a see. Kenny's got the accent going today. That's what it is. Vegas.
Vegas.
All right. 10:25. You got the Dallas Stars at the Boston Bruins. Dallas Stars currently undefeated.
Yes. Yes. I am going Boston. I am going Boston at home.
Home team. I got you. We know how your analysis works. We got it.
No, I just think Bruins are playing pretty well,
Wow.
even though that Dallas has been like Ottinger has been lights out. And we had talked about him during the preview show. So watch the preview show because we called it with this guy.
We did.
But they're going to run into some offense with Boston like they haven't seen yet. So.
Manny and Kenny both went Dallas. I went Boston as well. I just feel like Boston at home. That's all you need to know. That's what Ron taught me. Now, I also feel, look, the Boston Bruins have played some very good hockey.
You have.
Dallas is, again, played well, but the fact that you got to travel and you're playing a very good team at home.
Yeah.
10:21. You got the Boston Celtics at the Miami Heat. That game is on tonight. Boston looked very good against Philadelphia, pretty much controlled it. They struggle sometimes in Miami. What happened?
I just had a massive power surge.
Oh. Yeah, you froze for a second there. The Boston Celtics are my pick. I still think that, look, they're on a mission. They want to prove something. I went Boston in this game.
I also went Boston. I just think Boston's a better team. I like the way Butler plays. I like the way Butler plays, but he's just not a top guy. He's not top 10. At least Tatum is top 10. Borderline top 10. But he's top 10.
Manny picked Boston in an emoji of a puking face because I don't think he hates picking any New England team. He really does. We know where Kenny stands. Kenny's got the Celtics winning the whole thing. So
no, you're not supposed to tell them.
NFL preview show.
Make them watch the NBA preview show.
NBA preview show. Whatever it is. You know what? At this point,
so many shows. I know
we've done so many. 10:25. Golden State Warriors at the Phoenix Suns. Ron, who do you got?
Just to annoy Kenny, I'm going to go Phoenix at home because they're a good team during the regular season.
Oli, if you love the NBA, check out our NBA preview show we just did. Broke down all 30 teams. It was phenomenal. So Ron went with
make a pick here, Ollie.
Kenny.
Get these picks in.
Kenny, Manny
Warriors. So we have Boston Celtics at Miami and Golden State at Phoenix, Ollie. So give those.
I've got the Golden State Warriors as well.
I'm the only one. Boy,
the only one going Phoenix.
You guys don't have any faith in me? Wow.
So we are NFL action. I mean, all these big games this week. 10:23. You got the Kansas City Chiefs at the San Francisco 49ers. I am going with the Niners. That defense I feel is going to create some problems, and I think that Patrick Mahomes may struggle.
Oh yeah, I'm going San Francisco. I mean, now that you're going to have McCaffrey in there, and I'm sure he's playing. There's no way he's not playing.
Yeah, he was already in camp. Manny's going Kansas City. Ooh, Kenny went San Fran as well. All right, good stuff. We always pick every week the New England Patriots matchup. So 10-24, you got the Chicago Bears at the New England Patriots.
I don't care who's quarterbacking this game. The Patriots win just for showing up.
Just for showing up. I also went New England. I can't see how the Bears would be able to beat them. But I'd be interested. Manny, here's your chance to go Chicago.
At some point, the coaches are actually going to get in there to play, and they're going to sit the players because, it's going to be lopsided.
I think, no, they're going to get one of those. You remember the old football boards and you used to plug it in and the guys would just move with the
Oh, yeah.
They're just going to do that. Kenny's going to Bears. Wow.
Kenny has absolutely lost his mind.
I think Kenny's drunk tonight because he doesn't. He's going with the Patrons. Manny's going with the Patron. I think Manny's drinking too. Everybody just do some shots. Let's have a good time.
We should do a show like that.
We should do a crazy show like that. We've talked about it. It may happen. Sports Unfolded, uncensored, because it will be. 10-22 tomorrow night. You got the number 14 Syracuse Orangemen traveling to number 5 Clemson Tigers.
So they're both orange.
Yes. Who do you? Is it I'm first, right? I'm here. Syracuse hasn't beaten them. I think it's like the last whatever years, and I don't feel like they're going to do it this time. I went Clemson.
Yeah, I went Clemson too.
I went Clemson.
That's a lopsided matchup.
The Tigers, Kenny.
Rawr.
Nice pick. Manny, you got one out there? You going Orangeman? You going to throw it out there? Throw a chance. Oh, he went Clemson as well. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for participating. We'll keep you guys and update the prediction chart each and every week. If you guys like to join in every week, just make sure you join in with us live at 6 p.m. and you're able to put your name on there. Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, let's just discuss how you can help grow Sports Unfolded. You could donate stars on Facebook and bits on Twitch. I'm sorry. If you'd like to sponsor the show, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. You can have your business on our show, and we will definitely give you spots each and every week to have thousands of eyes on your business. So check that out. We'd love to get some sponsors. We want to continue to help grow our show. There's so many different ways to follow us on social media, on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. We also have our podcasts, Anchor, Google, Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn. We're looking at growing that as well and possibly putting it on other formats as well. So you'll be able to listen to it, not just only watch us. If you don't like our ugly mugs, which I can't see that being the case.
You can see mine today.
Yeah, you can definitely see. Look, you got nice and clean and fresh shaved. You look so good, Ron. You look so good. 20 years younger. So at Sports Unfolded, Facebook, Twitter, follow us there. MeWe. We've got some really good participation on MeWe at Sports Unfolded as well. Check that out. Really good social media site as well. Ron, how we normally end our show, we do our final thought, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. I am first today, so I will go first, and mine's a somber note. I'd like to give our condolences out to the fallen officers in Bristol. So they had the funeral today for Sergeant Alex Hamzy and Lieutenant Dustin DeMonte, both killed in action while responding to a domestic violence call. Third officer, Alec Aruda, was injured during that confrontation, but did end up, shooting the perpetrator and, but he was injured and wounded as well. So just tough for the families. We wish their families all the best and hope that they get through this as much as possible. I believe that DeMonte's wife was pregnant with their third child currently. So again, just a tragedy in so many different ways. And we can sit here and talk about police brutality and some of the things that they've done, but there are some good officers out there that are just trying to do their job and unfortunately get caught up in things like this where there's just people out there that really don't care about anything or themselves. So Just a sad story coming out of Connecticut, and since I am in the Connecticut area, I would just felt like it was something I wanted to bring up. So again, our condolences to those families.
Very well said. Look, I want to talk about a new league that is just formed this year.
Is this pickleball?
Well, it is the National Circus League. So
Oh.
the NFL just changed their name to the National Circus League because apparently that seems to be what we're getting now. So we have the whole debacle with Watson. So moving on from that, we have, the Washington Commanders and that situation. But Arizona's thinking, hey, we want to be in the news, so let's have this little argument, and see who, is in control of this football team. Because apparently it's not the coach. Kingsbury has completely lost it. As you witnessed, Kyler Murray coming off the field and telling him to calm down in a little more words than that, and a little harsher than that, and Kingsbury just basically backed down. So now we have a league that is run by the quarterback and all of their, untouchable money that really has won nothing to deserve anything. So Kyler Murray is showing that he was the aggressor, he was the bully, and he doesn't care what anybody else says because now he's untouchable. Because Arizona isn't going to get rid of him because they can't.
Yep.
Because it's all guaranteed. Like, what is it, 90% guaranteed?
There'd be so much good money.
Yeah. So he's untouchable now. So you just took the power out from the coach's feet and gave it to the quarterback, and he doesn't like it. Oh, but, he was nothing until week 6 when Hopkins came back, or 7 when Hopkins came back. So who's really the mastermind of it all? So look, what I'm trying to say is these guaranteed contracts have now worked in reverse of what they were intended on doing, is paying these quarterbacks that were very talented and to bring these teams to championships, but all you did is just make them power hungry. And we're already experiencing it with one quarterback. How long before it hits all of them?
No, great point. Well said. I want to thank everybody that joined us live tonight. Manny, Kenny, Oli, thank you for joining tonight. You guys have been great. Everybody that's going to watch afterwards, again, continue to look for us on our social media platforms and follow us. We look forward to seeing you every week, Friday, 6 p.m. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Manny. So we are also planning on some big things. We've got the World Cup Soccer coming up, and we will have our World Cup Soccer special. We'll be joined by the Diaz boys. Can't wait for that. Really excited. Manny and Brian, they're going to be breaking down the World Cup for us. So we're really excited about that and continue to grow Sports Unfolded worldwide. We're going to take on some things that we don't normally discuss. So we're really excited about that. And check out all those preview shows we had. NHL, NBA, just wrap that up. So Oli, check that out. It's a 3-hour special. We break down all 30 teams and give you our picks. I'm sure Oli, you'll love to see that. Everybody out there, take care. And Ron, all we ask for every week, peace in this world.
Have a good night, everybody. Take care.